Okay, problem number 6 is very similar to this textbook problem 7.10. In that problem, we were looking for the the 99th percentile. Means basically the person who is, another way to think about it is like the 1%, right? So the people who are actually 1%, and then the rest of us down here, you know, are the 99% that were beneath them. So it's actually a little counterintuitive. When we say the 99th percentile, what we really are calculating is those people who are above that 99%, like that top 1%. So if we use Excel, which we are going to, because Excel is amazing for this problem as well, you're literally just going to copy and use this formula. So it's asking us for the top 1%, which means what we really want for our area is the 99th percentile. We know that this stands for the mean. Oops. We know that, that stands for the mean, so we're going to put that mean of 75. And we know that that stands for standard deviation, so we're going to replace it with standard deviation. Voila. Type it in Excel. Excel will give you that answer. So let's look at a couple of textbook problems, or a couple of examples from the notes really quickly. First thing it's asking you for is the highest 20%. So again, the highest 20% is really asking you for the 80th, like you're thinking about it in terms of like, well, who are you better than? Well, you're better than 80% of the rest of us poor schmucks out here. So when we're actually putting the formula into Excel, for this one, we are actually going to type it in like this. So we're not going to use the 20. We're actually going to use the 0.8 to represent the 80th percentile. And there is our mean and our standard deviation. Voila. You're just going to type it in there. It's going to be good to go. Now, B could be a little bit tricky because we're looking for the middle 60%, right? So if we have the middle 60%, that means that we like basically need to cut off 20% on either side. So we're actually going to type in like kind of a twofer kind of situation here into Excel. We're going to type in something like this. And because we need a section that's kind of in between. So first of all, again, as we just clarified a second ago, when we're talking our top 20%, what we're really referring to is the 80th percentile. So when I type in the part of the formula that's going to involve who I'm higher than, so this part of the formula, I'm going to use the 0.8. But then when I do this lower part of the formula, I'm just going to use that 20% that I'm going to chop off. Okay, so the first part, I just have to keep in mind that the 20% that I'm chopping off in the top is really going to become the 80th percentile. But then the portion in the bottom that I'm trying to chop off will actually not change, and it'll stay the same when I type it down there in the formula. But other than that, you just copy and paste. Excel will do the hard work. Then lowest 30%, this is the only example we've had so far where it just means exactly what it says, right? The lowest 30 basically means, you know, who am I better than? Well, I'm better than all these guys that are down here in the lowest 30%. So when I go to type it into my formula, it is just going to look like this. And there is my 0.3 to represent that 30th percentile. And again, Excel will do the work for you.